Greetings, duelists, and welcome to another video. What you're seeing on the screen is uh, the deck I've been testing out for this week. This is going to be a little bit more unorthodox than what you're used to. Uh, as you can see, I am playing the Visa's Tearlament deck, but I am playing another engine alongside it, and that is with the Labyrinth monsters. So I guess we should explain the whole analogy and the whole process behind all of this. As you guys already know, we're in the middle of Snake Eye format, and in Snake Eye format, basically, the most amount of decks that will see success in this current meta game are the decks that are playing a plethora of hand traps. Historically, in the past, throughout different Yu-Gi-Oh formats, whenever a deck is playing a lot of hand traps, or a deck is not playing like a lot of defensive cards that are board breakers, uh, decks that particularly are more incentivized to play trap cards are those decks that will have an advantage. However, this case is a little bit different because most of the back row decks that we have this format are kind of weak to at least the Fire Kings portion of Snake Eyes because they have a lot of ways to playing around like that level or kind of disruption. Labyrinth is also a very weird case because Labyrinth is a trap reliant strategy. However, this trap reliant strategy is actually weak to certain hand traps. Those specifically being Ash Blossom, Enjoy Spring, and Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, which are both being seen meta contention at this current moment. So, where did I arrive to the conclusion of building this deck or like building this archetype? So, uh, at the beginning of this year, if people remember, or those who have been around the channel, they know that I've been already testing out tier elements with Needlebug Nest and Transaction Rollback. I kind of want to take it a little step further and want to see what would happen in the off chance that I play other trap cards that just can work well with the strategy, and whether or not that would be a plausible cause or not. So this is where the Labyrinth cards come in. For the Labyrinth, we have three Ariana, one Ariane, one Stove, one Lady Labyrinth, and one Lovely Labyrinth. We'll start with the one furniture. The reason there's only one furniture and it's specifically Stovey, it's because Stovey is level 2 and Stovey can reborn itself from the graveyard. Uh, so if you end up milling Torby and you fulfill Torby's condition, which is a monster leaving the field because of a normal trap card, the Torby will trigger and then it'll special summon itself. The only removal trap that we have in the main deck is Big Welcome Labyrinth. So the Big Welcome Labyrinth has an extra purpose in this deck. So the first thing I want to bring up is like it works well with the Labyrinth monsters in general. That is kind of normal in that regard. But the graveyard effect of Big Welcome Labyrinth can be done or fulfilled with monsters that are played in Tearlaments. Those main monsters being Tearlaments Kaleidoheart and Grapha, the Overlord of Dark World. So if you end up fusing into any of these cards and you have Big Welcome in your graveyard, you have another form of interruption besides just your monsters. So another reasoning for the Labyrinth engine is because it also helps us recruit our normal trap cards. Lady Labyrinth can just set one of the normal traps, while Lovely Labyrinth can reset the normal traps that are being milled or they're already in the graveyard. I'm not playing Arias because Arias doesn't have a real win condition in this deck outside of just, like, for example, setting Needlebug Nest turn 1 or setting other cards like Big Welcome. And there's not really enough room in this main deck for that. If you've seen the past list, I already explained Marilla. Basically, it's just the same thing as Foolish Burial Goods. It can mill you Soliak, which just starts your engine. It can mill you Transaction Rollback if you already have a key trap card in your graveyard. Another key trap card that we're playing is like the Shiranui Saga. It's kind of weird to see this card in this deck because we're not playing Beatrice in this list. However, there are so many easy ways to get to your trap cards in grave that just having a way to just tutor this as a win condition could be warranted. I already talked about Rainbow Bridge, which is unorthodox, seeing both Rainbow Bridge and Trivikarma here, since they're both bricks. I feel like since this is a 60 card list and not a 40 card list, the odds of you seeing like the one of bricks, like this one or this one, are just very far few between. In the off chance that you end up drawing or resolving one, you can resolve the other one. And this is not one of those decks that just eliminates the opponent on like one turn. This is one of those decks where you just want to like equalize and like stifle the opponent's advantage over you, and just try to simplify the game state. However, this deck does have a few game shots, like for example the access to Vicious Astrolaud via the Visas engine can help you secure victory in some duels. You have the Labyrinth monsters can just summon like other monsters and just like spam the board that way. TEARLAMENTS is already known for like just vomiting the board with monsters if you have your setup going. So on that regard, it kind of just helps alleviate the process. This extra deck is very, very tight. There is like a lot of things that are being like very normalized in this deck. I guess I can explain cross cheap. Cross cheap is not a link building tool. It's more as a toolbox tool, like scenario. One example I can give is like if you end up fusing and you have like Ariana engraved, you can reborn Ariana. Ariana can just start up your Labyrinth engine. You can reborn Samsara, and then you start like your Visas engine combos that way. You can reborn Reno Heart and just do Reno Heart effect. You can reborn Fusion Parasite. You probably noticed on this list there's no Zombie Vampire. That's something I was playing last list. So the one card combo that with Visa Samritara is to make Grafa turn 1 or Rule Kalos turn 1. If you end up opening alongside a TEARLAMENT or just opening in general. Which if you want to learn about that combo, I did make all the videos on it. But yeah, this is pretty much the deck. It's kind of straightforward. Why am I piloting this deck? So, right now, we're at a point in the format where unless we get a TCG Forbidden Limited list, the format is pretty much already defined. We already know what's going on in the format. We're pretty much in a format where Snake Eye is very dominant. However, if we're not playing on a super major event, you will be seeing a lot of other decks alongside this. So I'm just going to show you a few replays. Replay number 1 is against Flowonderies. And the reason I'm showcasing you this duel is because we do see Dimensional Fissure. As you can see there, I scoped game 1 because my hand wasn't that good. Game 2, we don't see Shifter. I summon
I summon Visas, and that's the end of the duel. So now we're going to game 3. So now I get shifted, which is essentially the same thing as game 1. However, we do have board breakers, uh, like in our hand, and that's like a normal standard for Tearlaments whenever we see it. Take note that they also opened Harpy's Featherstorm alongside Dimension Shifter. So this was like one of the biggest doomsday scenarios that we could have had. So they activate Dreaming Town. They summon Robina for token, grab Eagland, token, Advent, and they already opened Apex, so they're not going with the Eagland. And we just hit him with Super Poly, and now this Featherstorm is dead. So we're just going to proceed to OTK because we have Pearl Rhino and we have ways to summon Tier Cash. And this is not going to happen every duel, but if you're the flu player and you want to play around Super Poly, you just kind of have to shotgun this card before shotgunning like anything else. I cannot blame them for not flipping this card because it's something that people are a little bit greedy with. They just wait until the first monster interaction and then they just try to like make your opponent use their resources. But they did fall into Super Poly and that pretty much just decided the match. So now I'm going to show you a game against Snake Eye. As you guys already know, that's pretty much like the best deck in the format. So we're just sending 3 and passing. We have rollback and Terrific Karma in hand. That's why we're sending 3. And we're not setting any of these. It's pretty rare to just see like spell and trap removal game 1. Like if somebody mains deck Duster and they flip the Duster on you, that's pretty much GG. But we can't expect that to always happen. So now they go Temple, they summon Witch, they send Ash to Graveyard. The whole purpose behind this play is just because they have Snake Eye Oak in their hand. So this makes it so the Oak is just like a guaranteed play if I interrupt here in any shape or form. So I asked them to if I can read the original Snake Eye, just to confirm that it has to send face-up cards. And now I have to play for that because if I let this card resolve, it's going to start giving them a good amount of advantage. We do not know that he already had Snake Eye Oak in hand. We're just pretty much banking on the fact that we don't want them to summon it with the original Sinful Spoil. So we do Meta Noise for Halfness. Halfness fuses. We make Kaleido Heart. We got hit by Ghost Mourner. And now they do original for Ash, which kind of already tells us they have Oak in hand. They summon Poplar. We Super Poly, because we just don't want them to keep like going ahead in advantage. They're doing Oak for Flamberge. Now we roll back, and with rollback we try to copy the same Meta Noise. Meta Noise is hard once per turn, but rollback makes it so we can use it more than once. So we're resolving Meta Noise. We're sending Flamberge, and we have to send a tier monster. We send the Sharon. So now we're Sharon, summon Stapelia, and now what we're going to do is we're going to flip Marella, and with Marella we're going to send Black Goat, and we're going to copy Black Goat's effect, and with Black Goat we're just going to say Snake Eye Ash. This might look like a lot of resources already being spent. However, they already committed to their normal summon, and they already committed to Diabell Star. So just seeing this board the way that it is pretty much means that they probably won't have anything else. They drew into Ash Blossom. That's going to play a role. I don't know about Crossout Designator. There might be a Designator target in my main deck, but it's very odd if we do. So now we summon SP. SP banish the Flamberge. We activate Terrific Karma. They let it go through. We activate Pelourinho, they Ash, we snow more Rhino Heart, and that's going to be game because, yeah, they cannot stop that. So now they go first. We see Druid Swarm in their hand, so that means they're citing Bestials, which is not an uncommon hand trap this format. I don't have any hand traps. I pretty much just let them proceed with their plays. One card that is going to play a very significant role is the Mind Control in our hand. So they're gonna Flamberge for IP. I asked them anything before main phase. They spawn the IP, and now we Mind Control. And this is one of those weird scenarios where people don't know what to do against Mind Control. One thing that people originally lean to is Underworld Goddess, if they have 4 monsters, but they do not have 4 monsters, meaning that they have a lot of different options, but not the most guaranteed one. Option number 1 is to link away all 3 into something like, for example, Promethean Fire Princess, or another link 4 like Ambler Whale. And then just have Flamberge trigger on a new chain, separate chain. Option number 2 is let the Appaloosa go through, but chain the IP. And then in a new separate chain, try to chain block between SP Little Knight and Flamberge. That way we cannot negate with Appaloosa entirely. And then there's option number 3, which is linking away the Appaloosa and the IP into something like, for example, SP. And that's what they're going for. They went for option 3. We go and send Foolish Burial Goods. We activate Rainbow Bridge. There's no Ash Blossom, so we get to resolve it. We activate Pelourinho for Sharon. We activate Sharon sending Fusion Parasite. We accidentally, we hit Merly. We chain Black Goat. Surprisingly, he did not Bestial there. I would have thought that Bestial would have been activated on that occasion. Just letting Merly resolve is going to be problematic because not only am I going to get a Fusion Summon on board, but I'm also resolving Pelourinho. So I'm sending 3, I'm summoning Kaleido Heart, and then I go chain 1, chain 2. He imperms. I swap out field spells. I activate Rayphobia for Reinhardt. I normal Samsara. I special Reinhardt because I'm controlling visas. Well, that's pretty much incorrect. I think it's only adjacent to a Scareclaw, but that misplay didn't matter too much because what would have happened is I would have linked away the Samsara, and then after linking away, I would have reborn it with a rival. This Menacing Mantis is really not playing anything like a pivotal role or anything. So that Druid Swarm would have resolved regardless. But the one key thing here is there are 3 defense position monsters, meaning we can just Rayphobia to like pop the SP Little Knight. So we do Dugares, we do SP, they normal Veiler, they summon Dark. We chain SP to Dark, they Talents to draw, and then we draw back. We special Astrolaud, and that's the end of that game. Now, I'm going to showcase you another duel. This is also against Snake Eye. However, they are playing Magnamut in the main deck, and they also open with Nibiru and Magnamut. So I kind of want to show you like a better like duel involving that matchup because Snake Eye and Snake Eye Fire Kings are like the 2 more common decks that we're going to be seeing. I did not activate Sharon effect because I had Merly and I didn't want to fuse for Garura. So I just waited for visas and then activated Merly. That prompts the Magnamut. It's very hard to tell if they would have Magnamut the Sharon effect. But yeah, Uh, we link away visas into a Lightheart, Lightheart into Rayphobia, Rayphobia into Reichheart, Reichheart, Arrival, we activate Arrival, Arrival for visas. That's where they nib. They have to nib there because they don't know if we're on Appaloosa or not. We summon Astroloud, Astroloud pop, we activate Tier Cache, we're milling 3, we're summoning SP, managing that, and they add Druid Swarm. At this point, we still don't know what deck they're on, but they go into battle phase, and then they summon Poplar, and that's already a game because we didn't know they were on the Snake Eye deck. Now that we know they're on Snake Eye, uh, we're just gonna have to play against that board again. They open Nib Bestial again, um, but this time we're a little bit more prepared since we already know the matchup. That being said, I do end up playing into them. It's kind of weird that they kept Nib, knowing that we're on TEARLAMENTS. Like, I would assume that Nib is not really like that ideal against this matchup. However, with Bestials paired alongside it, it does fare a little bit of advantage. Uh, so we summon Tier Cache, we mill 6, and this is where the Labyrinth cards come in. As you can see, we milled Lovely, we milled Big Welcome Labyrinth, and we milled Rollback. This is pretty cool because Rollback can copy Big Welcome, and Big Welcome can reborn Lovely Labyrinth by bouncing Tier Cache to our hand, and then it starts snowballing advantage. However, they do have the Bestial, and it's kind of unfortunate because we did mill the Lovely Labyrinth, and she was not in the deck. That being said, we have to Rollback, we pay life, they do Bestial, so we're prompt to summon Ariana instead. We add Bacteria Cache, Ariana triggers, grabs Lady Labyrinth, we're going to special Lady Labyrinth. Now they're doing original Snake Eye by sending Druid Swarm. They summon Ash. They do Ash and Bestial. We Soliek by sending away Sharon. We do Sharon effect. And now we summon Kaleido. Kaleido Field Spell. Field Spell. With Field Spell, we pop Kaleido Heart instead of just popping something else. The reason we're doing this play specifically is because the Snake Eye Ash is already negated. So there was no real value in just putting it back into their deck. And it's kind of safe to say that they don't have evenly matched, but you still want to play around it. But that is bad for us because essentially what that means is they can nib. We summon Grapha, and they enter battle phase. They're attacking with Snake Eye Ash. That kind of already telegraphs that they have something to deal with our board. Otherwise, they wouldn't be attacking. That's something to take note in the future. In the future, you might want to summon the monsters in defense if they already committed to the board. Granted, the monsters do have lower defense, but that means they won't be crashing their monster, meaning that they wouldn't be activating this Imperm, which means that this Nibiru wasn't going to be null and void because we had a way to negate it with Grapha. So they activate Imperm, we chain Lady Labyrinth by setting Fiend Comedian. The Nib resolves, they normal Veiler, they do Dark, they Dark into Selene, they Selene to summon Access Code, and on the Access Code summon we flip Needlebug Nest because we already know that they want to get rid of our entire board. We just want to make sure that before they get rid of this Needlebug, that it resolves, and it worked out. It worked out because we milled Rhinoheart and we also milled Black Goat. And that's a very big deal because Black Goat can shut down the access code, and the Rhinoheart can also shut down the access code. So we summon Reinoheart by dumping Tier Cash, chaining 1, chaining 2. We summon Havness. Havness resolves. We summon Drago Stapelia, and Stapelia negates uh, by placing the Predator counter, and that's game. So now we're going to game 3. And I kind of want to talk about this game 3 because this game went to a very interesting position. As you can see from our hand, we don't have hand traps. We do have talents, and we have goods. They're just going to do their entire Snake Eye line. Pretty much the standard. It's unfortunate that they opened the second Flambridge. So now we activate Foolish Goods. They let it resolve. I asked if they can put back the bridge because I didn't see Emerald Tortoise in my hand. We Pearl Rhino, they Cosmic. We normal Merly, they chain Appaloosa. The reason we summon the Merly is because this is pretty much like the play that we need to do. Now we do talents. And so the talents can do a bunch of different things. The first thing it can do is we grab Appaloosa. And despite the Flambridge resolving, the Appaloosa is just going to contain this IP. And we can just run it over by battle. If they try to leave the main phase, they'll trigger the IP and we can just negate it with the Appaloosa. And then we just keep playing. Option number 2 is just take the IP. Just summon SP and just bait the Appaloosa and banish the Flambridge. And I think I went for that line. So yeah, we summon SP, we chain, we get rid of the entire board. The problem with this play is that Appaloosa now comes back, and Appaloosa can turn itself into Zelantis. And yeah, that's a big deal because now I have to get rid of this Zelantis. If I chain Karma Cannon, it just gets rid of both. I rather deal with the Zelantis another way than just like flipping the cannon. So I let it go through. They do their effect, and they drew summon limit, which is a really big problem. Another really big problem is this Ash Blossom. The Ash Blossom is going to play a very important role. Otherwise, we would have just sent with Kaleido Heart. I mean, we could have just sent with Reino Heart. We would have triggered Kaleido Heart, and that would have already just put us ahead in the game. So, they Ash Blossom. They attack over Rhino Heart. We chain the cannon. We kind of want to keep this Rhino Heart. We summon Nessie, or we attempt to activate Nessie. They hit Turtles. Nessie draw. We drew into Instant Fusion, and I kind of wanted to play it safe, so I went to a battle phase first. But the play that I kind of want to do is I want to summon Cross Sheep, Instant Fusion for Mud, and then we summon back Reino Heart, and then Reino Heart can make Kaleido Heart, and that's how we win the game. However, they have summon limit. So we're just gonna play it out. We summon Cross Sheep. They flip the summon limit, and we're forced to pass. And then they summon Witch, and that's the game. Yeah, I pretty much. There's not much. There's nothing else we can do here, and this is pretty unfortunate. Like, there are some things I don't like about this format, and summon limit is one of them. I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit because now we're in the middle of the process where banlist season is occurring. A lot of people are like speculating on a lot of different cards that should or might get hit on the next Forbidden Limited list. And I'll probably make a separate video talking about that. I'm not a huge fan of doing ban list discussions on my channel because
it's all highly speculative. There's no real advantage or disadvantage in guessing what Konami's moves are, because Konami has made a lot of unorthodox moves in the past. However, uh, with the Forbidden Limited list coming in April 1st in the OCG, uh, one card that I probably would be in agreement with most people if they make this card part of their list, or if it ends up happening on any list, is Summon Limit. Uh, I don't like the mechanic behind Summon Limit, and it kind of just like makes duels like this one very unrewarding for the opposing player. Uh, but yeah, that's another discussion for another day. But this is a list. It's not finalized by any means, but I kind of wanted to showcase these tools because these are decks that you actually do see in the format. And at first, I made a statement talking about how Tearlaments probably don't have a real place this format. But now, uh, looking more into it, the more people are like accustomed to the format and the more stagnant it is, the more advantageous it can get for T elements if you know what you're doing. It doesn't have to be necessarily this list. It could be like any other regular like T element list, like for example this one. At the end of the day, this is a very high roll deck, so uh, keep that in mind. The next time we cover tier elements, we're probably going to cover this. So stay tuned for this very soon in the future. But for now, uh, keep practicing and keep dueling.